Hello everyone, I'm Meteorologist Charlie Ironmonger. Thank you so much for joining me today for your noon news and weather update from the First Alert Desk. Now we've got news out of Kinston where a woman is now being charged with assault. Now Kinston police say it happened at Carver Courts on Wednesday at around 11:40 p.m. after they responded to a disturbance. Now, officers say the 25-year-old Ashley Baker was irate, refused to leave the area, and struck an officer with a car door. When they tried to take Baker into custody, she began actively and physically resisting. After a brief struggle, officers were able to take her into custody. One officer received minor injuries during the struggle, according to police. Now, because of the woman's impairment and overall behavior, police say they asked for EMS to come to the scene. However, Baker tried to assault EMS and began spitting at officers when being evaluated, according to a news release. Now, after receiving medical treatment, Baker was charged with drunk and disorderly, assault on a law enforcement officer inflicting injury, resisting arrest, and malicious conduct by a prisoner. The woman is being held on a $35,000 secured bond. Now, we also want to turn to some troubling news out of ECU where kids were found with a gun and were responsible for pointing it at a pedestrian on campus this past Thursday. Now, officials say the initial report was for 7 boys who were involved in pointing the gun at someone walking on the sidewalk on Cotant Street near the ECU Econ Student Recreation Center. Now, the following day, police say they identified the suspects after working alongside Greenville police. They say the group ranged in age from 8 to 14 years old. ECU Police Department will work with the Office of Juvenile Justice on the investigation. They believe the suspect used a BB gun that was modified by removing the orange safety tip, which made the weapon look more realistic. ECU Police Deputy Chief Chris Sutton said, quote, "Modifying any toy gun to resemble and look like a real firearm is extremely dangerous. It not only endangers the public, but also puts the safety of the person using it and any law enforcement officers they may encounter at risk." End quote. And now for your weather forecast. We've got rain on the way. It won't show up until really late tonight. I don't think we'll see any raindrops in the east, certainly not during the daylight hours today. You're going to have to wait until we get to around midnight tonight into tomorrow morning for those first initial drops to show up, but it's one that we've got plenty of rain on the way coming up for your Tuesday, so no sense in waiting up for the drops to come. Just be patient. They will arrive. Again, that whole mess is going to be working its way eastward. Now, we are not going to be faced with the same sort of impacts that are being felt across Kansas and Missouri and portions of Iowa and Illinois, even northern Arkansas. Right now, seeing some light snow flurries come down. For us, this is going to be a wet system, just a rainmaker. Here's how it all comes together. That area of low pressure will continue to push its way eastward. As it moves towards the mountains, it's going to force some of that snow and that rain-snow mixture up across Pennsylvania, New York, and kind of the New England area. Areas north of D.C. South of D.C., that's when we see just more rain showers. And not just raindrops, but we could, in fact, have some moderate to heavy downpours at times. That is good news for us. We are in need of the raindrops, and the raindrops will be going away as we head into Wednesday and Thursday, looking again at very sunny weather over that 2-day stretch. But then we've got another area of low pressure sitting further back towards the west. You can kind of see it over Salt Lake City, Utah. That is our next system that will be, again, digging far enough south to gather some moisture up out of the Gulf and push it into eastern North Carolina by the time we get to Friday, Saturday, and Sunday of this upcoming weekend. For right now, everyone looking dry. We had some rain showers late last night into the very early hours of this morning. But really, it's been dry so far today, ever since sunrise. Here's a look at what we've got again coming in tomorrow. Late tonight around midnight, those showers start to show up, but the full push of rain won't really occur until we get to around 6, 7, 8, and 9 o'clock tomorrow morning. Those are AM hours. You see again that initial first band of downpours rolling through. It'll be followed up by a secondary band of heavier rain showers coming in around lunchtime and then lasting through at least the first half of the afternoon. As we head towards 4, 5, and 6 p.m., a lot of the rain showers, at least the heavier downpours, will be pulling away from the coastline, and that'll leave us with a radar image that looks something like this. Some spotty showers across eastern North Carolina. Light stuff for your Tuesday evening compared to the heavier rain we're expecting to see at times coming up Tuesday morning and then again Tuesday afternoon. Air temperatures will be coming up tomorrow despite the rain showers. Currently looking at temps in the low to mid 40s across many inland areas. But as you get closer to the water around the Pamlico Sound, you've got more of the upper 40s showing up. We could certainly see the low 50s across parts of eastern North Carolina today, but the northeasterly winds that right now are blowing in at about 7 to 15 miles an hour are doing a great job of keeping our air temperatures capped. Not looking again at any sort of excessive warming over the next few hours. Highs today right around the 50-degree mark. Now, of course, the cloud cover will start to build once we get past sunset today. That'll lead us into a mild overnight tonight in terms of air temperatures, likely only getting into the low 40s. And then tomorrow morning, it's going to be wet and cloudy throughout eastern North Carolina right as you walk out the door. 44 degrees at 7, turns to 47 by 10, 50 degrees by noon, and then we're into the low to mid 50s tomorrow afternoon. Now, if we see a little bit more sunshine earlier than 3 p.m., yeah, we could certainly see air temperatures possibly get a little bit warmer. However, I'm not putting too much stock into that. The northwesterly winds that will follow will help push air temperatures back down again, going from 54 degrees on Tuesday down to 32 degrees by Wednesday morning. And Wednesday, again, staying well below our seasonal average by about 12 degrees or so, coming in at 49 degrees. 53 on Thursday, back to the mid-40s on Friday, and that marks the arrival of our next system that will bring rain showers to eastern North Carolina for Friday, Saturday, and potentially even Sunday morning over this upcoming weekend. Not exactly what we want to see, but we need the rain showers, and at this point, we're not going to be picky when they decide to show up. Well, that's all we have time for today's noon news and weather update from the First Alert Desk. I want to thank you all so much for joining me. We'll be back with more news and weather coming up at the top of the hour. Until then, have a fantastic rest of your Monday.